Welcome to another exciting episode of Howard's Opinion. I'm your host, Howard, and I'm thrilled to have you all tuning in today. We've got a fantastic show lined up for you, packed with the latest sports news and analysis. Let's dive right into our first segment, where we're going to talk about the world of football. Specifically, we're going to explore the recent developments surrounding the Detroit Lions and their former offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. As you may know, Johnson made headlines earlier this year when he left the Lions to become the head coach of the Chicago Bears. Now, I know what you're thinking. What's the big deal about a coach switching teams? Well, my friends, this is more than just your average coaching change. Ben Johnson was instrumental in shaping the Lions' offense into one of the most formidable units in the league. Under his guidance, the team averaged over 409 yards per game and scored more than 30 points in 10 out of 17 contests. But what's really interesting is why Johnson decided to leave Detroit for Chicago. According to reports, he cited three key reasons: being in the Chicago area, a roster that he's excited to build, and wanting to stay in the NFC North, which he calls the toughest division in football. And let's not forget the fact that he'll be working with quarterback Caleb Williams, the #1 pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. Now, I've got to say, this move has raised some eyebrows. Johnson's contract with the Bears is reportedly worth $13 million annually over 5 years, making him one of the highest-paid coaches in the league. And at just 39 years old, he's also one of the youngest head coaches in the NFL. So, what does this mean for the Lions and the Bears? Will Johnson's departure be a blow to Detroit's chances of success this season? And can he really turn the Bears into a playoff contender? These are all questions we'll be exploring in more depth as we continue to follow this story. But for now, let's just say that this is a fascinating development in the world of football. The coaching carousel never ceases to amaze, and we can't wait to see how it all plays out. We'll be right back with more fascinating sports news on Howard's Opinion. Welcome back to Howard's Opinion, folks. We're diving into the world of sports now, and what a weekend it's shaping up to be in the NFL. Tonight, all eyes will be on US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis as the Vikings host the Falcons on Sunday Night Football. And let me tell you, this matchup has all the ingredients for an absolute thriller. We've got two young quarterbacks, J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix Jr., facing off against each other, both looking to make a statement in their second week of action. McCarthy, the Vikings' rookie sensation, is coming off an incredible debut where he led his team to a stunning comeback victory over the Bears. And Penix, the Falcons' 8th overall pick from last year's draft, threw for nearly 300 yards and a touchdown in a tough Week 1 loss to the Buccaneers. But what's really intriguing about this matchup is the subplot surrounding the Falcons' kicker situation. Justin Koo, their longtime kicker, has been struggling, and it looks like he might be on his way out. In comes Michael Romo, who had a stint with the Vikings last season and will be facing his former team tonight. It's a one-week tryout of sorts for Romo, and I've got to say, it's going to be fascinating to see how he performs under the pressure of Sunday Night Football. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, Howard, what about the Vikings' home field advantage? Well, let me tell you, US Bank Stadium is one of the toughest venues in the NFL, and the energy is going to be electric tonight. The Vikings are looking to build on their momentum from last week, and with their crowd behind them, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. So, who's going to come out on top? Will it be McCarthy and the Vikings, or Penix and the Falcons? Tune in tonight to find out. And if you can't catch the game live, don't worry. We'll have all the analysis and reaction right here on Howard's Opinion tomorrow. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on Howard's Opinion. Speaking in his signature style, welcome back to the show, folks. We're closing out today's episode of Howard's Opinion with a fascinating story that highlights the dedication, perseverance, and sheer grit required to compete at the highest levels of athletics. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the name Molly Caudery, the talented British pole vaulter who has been making waves in the track and field world. Now, I know what you're thinking. What's the big deal about pole vaulting? Well, let me tell you, it's not just about running down a track and jumping over a bar. It's an intricate dance of technique, strength, and mental toughness. And Molly Caudery is one of the best in the business. But what really caught my attention was her remarkable story of overcoming adversity. This young athlete has faced her fair share of setbacks, from injuries to disappointing performances on the biggest stage. Yet, she continues to bounce back with a determination that's truly inspiring. I mean, can you imagine having to transport your poles all over the world, dealing with airlines that don't accommodate them, and still managing to perform at an elite level? It's not just about the physical challenges, it's also about the mental strain of competing under pressure. And Molly Caudery has shown time and time again that she has what it takes to succeed. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The road to success is never easy. There are ups and downs, twists and turns. But what sets athletes like Molly apart is their unwavering commitment to their craft. They're not just chasing medals or accolades. They're driven by a passion that burns deep within them. As I always say, it's not about being the best, it's about being better than you were yesterday. And Molly Caudery embodies that spirit perfectly. She's not resting on her laurels, she's pushing herself to new heights, literally and figuratively. So, as we wrap up today's show, I want to leave you with a thought. What can we learn from athletes like Molly Caudery? It's not just about the sports themselves, it's about the values they represent, hard work, resilience, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. That's all for today's Howard's Opinion. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, these are some of my humble thoughts.